Hello again, and welcome once again to High School Game Day here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Coming to you live from the Pizza Ranch studio, and as always, presented by Central Bank of the Ozarks, Doak Propane, Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks, the Bank of Billings, established 1889, the oldest bank in Christian County, Liuna, local 663, Building, Missouri, and Building, Missouri Roads, and Great Southern Bank. We go to Smithville High School and home of head coach Jason Ambroson. And Coach, thanks so much for your time today.
I enjoy sitting down and talking with you.
Coach, before we get into what you got coming up here, let's go back to last week against a Kearney team. Your only loss on the season was earlier this season to Kearney. Tell us a little bit about the differences in the between the two games.
I just think early in the year we weren't as good a football as we needed to be. You know, they've got a really good football team there. Coach Minnick does a great job with them. They've got a lot of fine athletes and turned the ball over a few times and got down and rallied. Actually, we were down. I think we were up 7-0. Then it was 7-7. Then we were down 4, came back and tied it to make it 14-14. They went up 20-21 or 20, and then went for 2, and we stopped them. Then we scored, and we went for 2, and then had about 58 seconds to a minute left. Tried an onside kick down, and then missed the field goal. So we ended up losing by 1. And what it came down to is they do, and we didn't play as well as we needed to, and had an opportunity to at that, and our kids really responded well.
Coach, as you go back and look at that game from then till now, what are some things you're doing really well? I mean, that's a 5-touchdown turnaround, between those two games. What are some things right now the Warriors are doing really well?
Well, in this game, we played really well. I mean, they got a 3-and-out. We kicked the ball to them. They got a big trick. Got a couple nice runs and were moving the ball, and got down there, and then ran a trick play and scored. And was up 7-0. And then they kick return, and then we just drove down the field and answered. And I felt like what we compared now compared to what we did in the beginning of the year. Number one is we're handling adversity and situation. And early in the year, I mean, we had a lot of new starters off of a team that the guys from last year, and so I don't think we understood our roles as well as we needed to. I don't think we needed to, and I think there's just some growth that had to occur there, and we were fortunate that the kids really embraced that after forward and trying to get better, and how they practiced and how they prepared from that point on, and just being able to deal with adversity and run down the field and score, got to take that edge away. Then we're able to get a turnover and then be able to build on that. And so what we did well after that was played really good defense, then got to come into the lead. And by extending the lead, you take a team that likes to run the football and run the football very well. Their game plan a little bit. And fortunately, that worked out for us. And we were able to create some more turnovers in that capacity. Anytime you can get in that situation, handle adversity real well, turn the tables on somebody successful. That's how it turned out.
Coach, now here you've got in week, I guess it'd be week 13, so to speak, quarterfinals. That you've got a team that's putting up over 50 points a game. You're allowing less than a touchdown a game. Talk a little bit about what you're going to have to do this week to kind of control center a little bit.
Well, I don't know. First of all, Brian's been an extremely great coach for a long period. It's respect for him and the job that he does. Their kids just play really tough. Then you throw on top of that, they have tremendous size and great speed. I don't know. We might be able to tackle them in a phone booth, maybe. I don't know. But they got some kids that run. They do a good job utilizing them and allowing their players to play. I think big things, not big plays. We can't let them have 1- and 2-play drives. And I have a philosophy as a defense anyways, get them on the ground and make sure that they run it again, because it is high school, 14 to 18-year-old young men. And so that's not always easy. Actually, you see that trouble with that on. So I think that's part of our philosophy that we always have, and I think it's going to be even average guys. I think, too, we've got to control the ball. We can't turn it over. We're not built to come, to throw the ball all over the place. We kind of like to mix it up, and so I think playing good defense and not giving up big plays. Obviously, if we can get some, but at the same time, when we're on offense, we've got to continue to do what we do, and that's control the tempo, not turn the ball over. And then obviously in the kicking game, kind of the same thing. Don't give up big plays, care of the situations so that you maintain possessions and play intelligent football. And that's ways, and I think we're just going to have to do a much better job of following our philosophy, a quality opponent.
And Coach, talk a little bit, a great opportunity here. You've got this as a home game
Yes.
for you. Tell us a little bit about what that means to be able to play the quarterfinal game at home.
Well, I think it's big for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's our kids. We talk about that during the regular season. People, is that important? And they talk about the playoffs or where it matters and so on and so forth. And I tell opportunity, one, we get to play the game of football is a blessing. And number two, every time you get to play it, where you're used to being here and having an opportunity for another home game. And so we think it's important to play here because we like it here. We like our community. We like being in front. I think most importantly, this is our kids' home. And, they wanted to work. And, it was one of the first things they said, we got to go back to our place now. And I just think really for the type of kids that we have and how important it is to play on their turf. So those two things.
As you look at the weather, number one, there's nothing better than Saturday football, especially at this time of the year, because you're making a run. But 1 o'clock in Smithville, it's going to be maybe mid-30s. What role does that play?
Zero, as far as I'm concerned. I actually want nights. I think the lights are more fun. In high school, I think Saturdays are for the big boys and Fridays are for the little. Doesn't matter to me. Football's football. We played on Saturdays before. And we'll be fine about it. I like Fridays better, and it would have been even colder. I just think at this time to do what you have to do and doing it to the best of your ability. And if that's in 5 degrees, or snowing or freezing or the wind's blowing, you got to find a way to do it. So the thing about it is I think for both teams, we're going to have this kind of weather all week long to practice. It will be a lot lesser of a factor than it has been in the last couple of weeks for teams. And then last week the cold was cold because it was 80 the day before. 35, 15 mile an hour wind. That's tough on anybody, even us parts that it doesn't bother. We'd rather wear shorts and go out and play. But it's handled it very well, and we always just talk about that being warrior weather, and Warriors got to play no matter where it is. Our mindset, and I think Center's got a bunch of tough kids down there too. They're gonna.
Hey, you bet. Well, Coach, as always, I greatly appreciate you being generous with your time today. I know it's a big week, and you're coming down here to the quarterfinal game, Saturday kickoff at 1 o'clock at Smithville, and we'll be paying attention if not there. But we appreciate your time today.
What you do for high school sports. I think any time that we can get out there and just perpetuate sports and the greatness of young people, because, and I'm going to stand on a soapbox, all we ever hear about in the world is the bad. Every time you turn on the TV, we have great things than we've ever had done before. We have more people doing great things than we've ever seen before. Take your show and the things that you do to highlight kids, I think is out some young people moving forward in the world. And the world's going to be a good place. Why? Because we got great kids taking the time to help us highlight them. So thank you.
Hey, you bet, Coach. Couldn't do it without you, and best of luck. And hopefully, we'll get to talk to you next week as well.
Sounds great, man. Take.
You're watching High School Game Day here on the Missouri Sports Network, and as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol remind us: take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. Have a great day. God bless.